There's something inside you that has always screamed to be different. No matter where you are, it feels like the world sees you in a unique way. And there's a reason for that. The chosen ones never go unnoticed. They carry a divine mission that sets them apart from the ordinary, demanding strength, wisdom, and resilience. But here's the secret: not everyone recognizes this calling. Many spend their entire lives ignoring the signs, drowned by routine and the distractions of the world. You, on the other hand, are beginning to awaken, and that changes everything. To be chosen means to walk a path few dare to follow. The road isn't paved with ease, but with challenges that test your faith and the depth of your spiritual connection. Look at any great spiritual figure in history: Moses, David, Paul. None of them had an easy journey. They all faced deserts, betrayals, and persecution. And you know why? Because preparation comes before the mission. You might be going through tough times right now, but every hardship is shaping you for something greater. If your journey feels harder than others, it's because your mission is also bigger. Here's the key: recognizing your calling requires preparation. You can't just keep going as you were, expecting everything to magically fall into place. You need to strengthen your faith, protect your energy, and understand that not everyone around you will understand your path. The good news? There are ways to shield yourself, to avoid unnecessary drains, and to ensure your mission is fulfilled without outside interference. But it all starts with a fundamental principle that few master. Not everything you experience or perceive needs to be shared. Silence is armor for the chosen, because not everyone has the eyes to see what you see. Speaking too much can attract the wrong kind of attention, unfair judgments, and even spiritual blockages. Joseph in Egypt learned this the hard way. He shared his dream with the wrong brothers and ended up thrown into a pit. Some revelations are meant to be kept, nurtured in secret until the right time comes. The world doesn't need to know every insight you receive. Discernment is the compass that separates the wise from the naive. Often, enthusiasm leads the chosen to share deep experiences with those who aren't ready to understand them. The problem? What's a revelation to you might be a reason for mockery or even a weapon against you. Have you noticed how some people seem to divert your focus when you share something important? Not everyone around you is rooting for your growth. Choose carefully who you open your heart to. And here's a principle few master. Keeping a secret isn't about hiding, it's about protecting. There's a time to speak and a time to stay silent. If something feels too valuable, guard it. If there's no need to expose it, preserve it. Jesus taught in parables because not everyone was ready to understand the truth immediately. The same strategy can apply to your daily life. The more you protect your journey, the clearer your spiritual vision becomes. And there's something even more precious that needs this protection. Not everything you perceive in the spiritual realm should be shared. Some revelations are treasures that need to be guarded until the right moment. Have you noticed how great prophets rarely revealed everything they knew? Moses went up the mountain and received instructions directly from God, but he didn't come down and share everything at once. Certain truths need to mature before they're delivered. The chosen understand that sacred wisdom can't be cast before those who don't value it. It's like sharing a deep secret with someone who doesn't understand its meaning. Have you ever tried explaining something deeply spiritual to a skeptic? Most of the time, the result is a blank stare, an ironic laugh, or even a scornful reply. What happens? Your spiritual perceptions start to be questioned, even by yourself. The enemy of spiritual growth is doubt, and nothing plants doubt more than sharing your journey with the wrong people. Choose wisely who you share your vision with. Here's the key: protect your perceptions like a gardener protects a rare seed. Before a tree grows and bears fruit, it needs protected soil, free from pests and storms. Your spiritual revelations follow the same principle. Nurture them in silence, strengthen them in faith, and wait for the right time to share them. Because if something isn't guarded well, it can become your greatest vulnerability. Not everyone who smiles at you wishes you well. This is a hard truth to accept, but it's essential for those walking a spiritual path. People observe, analyze, and when they notice your weaknesses, some won't hesitate to use them against you. Have you noticed how, when you share a moment of vulnerability, certain looks change? The world isn't always a kind place, and the chosen need to learn to protect their vulnerabilities like a warrior protects their armor. The Bible is full of examples of great men who fell because they exposed their weaknesses too much. Samson, for instance, revealed the secret of his strength to Delilah, and what happened? He was betrayed and lost everything. This doesn't mean you can never trust anyone, but it does mean you must choose wisely who you share the sensitive parts of your journey with. Not every shoulder is safe to lean on. Sometimes, what seems like comfort can actually be a disguised trap. The secret lies in knowing how far to open your soul. If you need to vent, find someone you trust, someone spiritually aligned with you. If you feel a weakness is holding you back, work on it quietly. Because keeping your vulnerabilities hidden isn't weakness, it's strategy. And the more you protect your essence, the more you preserve your energy. After all, there are people who don't just observe but try to drain everything you have. If you're chosen, you've probably noticed that your presence unsettles some people for no apparent reason. You walk into a room, and suddenly the energy shifts. Some feel inspired by your light, while others seem drained or even hostile. This happens because your energy is strong, unique, and it triggers intense reactions around you. But here's the danger. If you don't learn to protect it, you'll become an easy target for those who siphon your vitality without you even realizing it. Spiritual parasites exist, and they're closer than you think. They're the ones who always show up when they need something but disappear when you're the one in need. They're the people who dump their frustrations on you, leaving you exhausted. Have you ever felt that unexplained fatigue after talking to someone? That's no coincidence. Your energy was drained. The problem is, if you don't set boundaries, this becomes a cycle. You give, until there's nothing left for yourself. The solution: shield yourself. Set clear boundaries. Learn to say no without guilt, and choose carefully who you spend your time with. Practices like prayer, meditation, and even strategic isolation can help restore your strength. Think of it as recharging your spirit's battery. No one can operate at their best if they're constantly drained. And more than that, solitude can be your greatest ally when used correctly. Sacred presence and solitude. Solitude isn't a punishment, it's a calling. The chosen have always had periods of isolation before fulfilling their purpose. Moses spent years in the desert before leading his people. Jesus often withdrew to pray alone. Elijah hid before being used greatly. The modern world teaches that being alone is a bad thing, but spiritually, it's the opposite. The silence of solitude strengthens your connection with the divine. After all, how can you hear God's voice amidst the noise of the world? But not all solitude is healthy. There's the solitude of abandonment, which destroys, and the solitude of strategy, which builds. The difference lies in intention. When you choose to step away from environments that drain your energy, when you decide to connect more with yourself and the Creator, you're strengthening your sacred presence. Have you noticed how, after some time alone, answers simply come? That's because external chaos gives way to internal clarity. And here's the secret: the chosen can't be just anywhere, with just anyone. Your energy needs to be protected. There are spaces where your light will be dimmed, and there are companions who will weaken your faith. Learning to be at peace with yourself is one of the greatest spiritual gifts. Because when you master this art, you realize that silence holds a power few understand. Silence is a powerful weapon. In a world where everyone wants to be heard, few understand the value of staying quiet. The chosen know that not every truth needs to be spoken, not every answer needs to be given. Have you noticed how people get uncomfortable with silence? They want you to react, to explain, to justify your choices. But when you master silence, you maintain control. Because true power lies not in what you say, but in what you hold back. There's an old saying, "He who talks too much says hello to a horse." In other words, those who expose themselves unnecessarily open the door to being questioned, criticized, or even sabotaged. Have you ever shared a plan with someone, only for everything to go wrong? That happens because not everyone is rooting for your success. Silence protects your dreams before they can be destroyed. Sometimes, the best response is no response. Because silence disarms, confuses, and, above all, preserves. The great sages spoke little, but when they did, every word carried weight. The secret lies in knowing when to speak and when to stay silent. Want a practical example? Before sharing something important, ask yourself, does this person really need to know? Will this strengthen me or expose me? If the answer isn't clear, keep it to yourself. Because those who master silence also master their emotions. Being chosen doesn't mean being immune to emotions, it means knowing how to control them. The world is full of emotional traps, and many are set intentionally to destabilize those carrying a spiritual mission. Have you noticed how some situations seem designed to test your patience? The problem isn't feeling anger, sadness, or frustration. That's human. The problem is being controlled by those emotions, letting them dictate your actions and steal your peace. Balancing the spiritual and physical worlds requires emotional discipline. Imagine a warrior in battle. If he acts on impulse, attacks without thinking, and wastes energy carelessly, he quickly becomes vulnerable. The same applies to life. Provocations will come, disappointments will happen, but how you react defines your level of spiritual maturity. Before responding to any situation, take a breath. Ask yourself, does this reaction strengthen me or weaken me? Sometimes, the best response is silence. Other times, it's a strategic retreat. And here's the most important detail. Balance doesn't mean apathy, it means control. A true chosen one doesn't live like a leaf in the wind, blown from side to side by their feelings. They feel, understand, and choose to act in the right way. Because those who master their emotions strengthen their energy. And that energy needs to be protected at all costs. Spiritual protection. Spiritual protection isn't optional for the chosen. It's a necessity. The stronger your connection with the divine, the more attacks you'll face. Ordinary people live unaware of the spiritual world around them, but you feel it. You sense when the energy in a room is heavy, when someone approaches with ill intentions, when something just doesn't feel right. This isn't paranoia, it's discernment. And ignoring this call can cost you dearly. Imagine a castle without walls. It might be beautiful, full of riches, but all it takes is one invader for everything to be plundered. Your energy works the same way. If you don't build spiritual barriers, you'll be an easy target. Prayer is your armor, meditation strengthens your foundation, and vigilance prevents negative forces from finding cracks. Have you noticed how some people seem to bring weight into your life? Not everything is a coincidence. Some presences drain your light, even if they don't mean to. That's why you need to learn to shield yourself. Make spirituality a daily habit, not just an emergency resource. Surround yourself with practices that elevate your vibration. Praise, gratitude, fasting, sacred readings. Don't underestimate the power of these actions. The chosen must always be prepared, because the battle never stops. And without this protection, even your connection with the divine can be weakened. Unshakable connection with the divine. Everything begins and ends with your connection to the divine. If this foundation is strong, nothing can knock you down. But if it's fragile, any opposing wind can throw you off course. The chosen face challenges others don't even notice, and the only way to stand firm is to be spiritually anchored. Have you noticed that when your faith is strong, everything seems to flow better? But when you drift away from spirituality, life feels heavy, confusing, like something's missing. That's no coincidence. A connection with the divine requires daily commitment. It's not enough to seek it only in moments of difficulty. Relationships need consistency, and it's no different with the Creator. Pray, even when everything is fine. Meditate on the Word, even when you don't need urgent answers. Talk to Him like you would to a close friend, because that's true spiritual intimacy. Have you tried writing down your spiritual insights? Many answers come when you write and reflect. Small habits build unshakable faith. And here's the key: your connection is your greatest protection. Many lose their way because they drift from the source and seek answers in the wrong places. But those who keep this bond strong are never alone, never lost. The chosen walk different paths, but they're always guided. And those who walk in this light will never be overcome by darkness. Now that you understand the secrets to staying among the chosen and protecting yourself, ask yourself, are you ready to apply this knowledge to your life? Knowing isn't enough. You must act. Spiritual protection, silence, and connection with the divine need to be part of your daily routine. So, what will you do with all this? Are you letting your energy be drained by outside influences? Or are you taking control and safeguarding your journey? If you feel this transformation is what your life needs, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and keep learning how to keep your divine mission intact. The path of the chosen is challenging, but entirely possible to walk with the right wisdom. Don't waste any more time. Start strengthening your spiritual protection today.